My name is Richard Bartley. I live in Orlando, Florida. I've had about 20 years in this industry. I was a competitor, competed at national level, almost got my pro card back in 2013. I worked for a dietary supplement company for 10 years. I was their creative and marketing director. And I also, nowadays, presently, I help within the NPC. I'm a tabulator in the Central Florida area. So they call me a tabulator or a statistician. I'm basically one of the most important people that sits at the judge's table. Without me putting in your scores, you won't have scores for those that compete. So just to kind of give you a little background about myself, like I said, 20 years in the fitness industry. A lot of times, you know, people understand marketing, but they don't come from this industry. I understand this industry. I've been around it a long time. I've helped a lot of people within this industry, whether it's show promoters, whether it's brands, you name it, I've helped out. Typically for me, I'm more of a behind the scenes person. I don't even post on social media like that. I know the information. I know what you can do to scale your business or scale your brand, but I'm more of like, who's seen the show Power? Show of hands. I'm like Ghost. Okay. Most people just see me in this industry as Rich the statistician, but people don't really know what I do behind the scenes. And I'm cool with that. I don't advertise, I don't push my business. Everything that I do is referral based, and I think it's the best business because that means I'm doing a good job. Referrals, it's one of those things when people do approach me or reach out to me, I know that they're serious for my services. I can sit up there and post on social media or advertise, and I'm gonna get a lot of spam and people wanting this and that. They're really not that serious. But I know typically since my business is referral based, when people come to me, they're serious. And like today, I want this about you guys. I want this to be more of like a conversation because I can sit up here and give you a lot of technical jargon. It's gonna go over your head. You're gonna leave here and be like, what was he even talking about? I don't remember anything. I wanna ask you guys, hey, where are my, show of hands, who's the competitors here? Okay, show of hands, who are show promoters? Okay, show of hands, who's business owners? Okay, so let's make this about you because I can sit up here, don't get me wrong, there's basic principles with this that pertain to everyone, but I know you guys have a lot of questions and you need answers. So I want this to be more of a conversation because if you're a competitor and you have a question, there's other competitors in here that may have similar questions, so it'll kind of just overlap a little bit. And I'm here, like I said, I'm an open book. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Social media can be tricky. It's always changing. What may have worked 10 years ago doesn't work today. You see these people with 10, 15 million followers, even people 100,000 followers. Guess what? When they post, barely any of their followers even see what they post. And the bad part about it, when I worked for a dietary supplement company, back in 2019, I left. I'm kind of bouncing back. I was there for about 10 years. And at that time, we spent so much money to get followers. Like just spending money, you know, engagement and impressions just to get followers because back then followers mattered. So when you did post, your 400,000 followers would see your posts. Facebook, Instagram caught on to that. They said, oh, we gotta learn how to make money off of this. You spent money to get that, but now they're gonna still charge you money for your followers to be able to see what you post. But they changed that. Back in, I would say 2021, they changed the algorithm, and it's been changing, of course, before that, but it's really changed just recently, like I said, within the last 3 to 4 years, to where it's a For You algorithm. And with the For You algorithm and what it means, have you noticed now, when you go through your feed, you're seeing things that interest you based off of what you've liked, commented. It's not even people that you even follow. Because I've even myself scrolling through social media, I'm like, man, I haven't seen this person post in a long time. Then if you just so happen to just search and pull up their page, they got like 20 posts that you haven't even seen. And you're like, what happened to this person? But that's how they're doing now. They're just mainly pushing audience-generated content, meaning to where it's based off of what you like and what you comment on and your interests. Mm-hmm. So it's going across the board from Facebook, TikTok, even Instagram as well. But TikTok is the one that kind of changed the landscape with that back in like around 2021, because if you notice, TikTok, it's not about followers. If you go on TikTok, I don't know how many people utilize TikTok, it's about your interests. You can search on TikTok. It's the only platform that you can really search besides, like, of course, YouTube. But as far as like Instagram, Facebook, you can't really search for the content specifically, but Instagram, TikTok, you can. So when you look at TikTok, it's all interest-based. A person doesn't have to have hundreds of thousands of followers for a video to go viral. You can have 0 followers and a video can go viral. Try that on Instagram, Facebook, it's not happening. So a lot of people are leveraging TikTok to get, develop a marketing campaign, and to also leverage that. Whether you posted like a viral video on TikTok, use that on YouTube for YouTube Shorts, and then also with Instagram on Reels. So with you guys, as far as like leveraging social media, that's why I asked you guys a few minutes ago, who are my promoters, who are my business owners, who are my competitors? Like I said, I want this to be more or less like a conversation. So if anybody has any questions, I'm here to help you and here to answer those so we can try to scale your business or whatever you're trying to do as a content creator. Excuse me. Any show of hands, any questions? You first.
So for someone like me who finds social media overwhelming and highly distracting, how can I craft a posting schedule and allow AI to do most of it, if even possible, or schedule it out where it's not overwhelming?
You can do that with AI, but the biggest thing, you can even leverage AI to generate the content, but what kind of business are you having? Are you trying to do like a personal brand or?
Wellness lifestyle.
Wellness lifestyle. Okay, wellness lifestyle.
Wellness mindset lifestyle.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
How many followers do you have?
On YouTube, well, my podcast is new, so very few, and I don't push it. My goal now is to be consistent and get content out there.
Okay, you said one word I want to touch on.
The consistent?
Okay.
Okay. I'm a one step at a time person.
Okay.
So, and then on TikTok, I don't know how many I have, but when I do go back and look at some of the repurposed content from my podcast on TikTok, some of them have 300-400 views, some have 97, so it depends.
Okay.
So my thing is, get the content out, and I'll be concerned about.
How often do you post content?
My podcast release weekly.
Okay, you need to do more.
Excuse me? Now, the repurposing of that content, I try to post, my goal is to post at least 7 pieces of content from that one podcast. I'm not there yet, and I'm aware of that.
Okay.
Okay, but social media to me is still a time suck and a killer, and I do find myself, even when I go there intentionally to say, okay, how did this video do that post? I get caught, I get mentally captured, and then 30 minutes later, I'm like, damn.
Okay.
Right.
So, and that's the thing, like we live in a day of age of instant gratification. That's why Instagram is called Instagram, because you instantly see all that, whether it's a video or a photo. But in your case, if you're trying to scale, you even admitted being consistent. Most of the people in here who are competitors, to build the physiques that you're building, you have to be what? Consistent. We can sit up here, I can give you the information today. Are you gonna leave here and be consistent? Most of you gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna leave here, I'm gonna post 5 times a day or whatever. But then when you leave here, you're gonna say, this is too much, I can't do that. So it's pointless. But the biggest thing is, in order for this to move on an upward trend, you have to be consistent. By you having that podcast and you're repurposing, you're already on the right path. Because a lot of people who, not saying everyone in here, but some people in here, they don't know where to start with the content. You at least have an advantage because you're utilizing your podcast. You understand you have your podcast platform. What do you post that on? YouTube?
Yes, YouTube and TikTok are my main
Okay.
outlets.
And so are you looking at the analytics to see, is the podcast, like the longer the podcast, the subject matter, like to see the viewership? Because you have to look at the analytics. Most people don't pay attention to the analytics, they just post. And it's like, that's cool, but you need to look at the analytics and see, okay, when I posted this video on recipes, let's just use recipes, okay? Then when I posted a video talking about the struggles of being a competitor, I got more views on the recipe. Why am I not posting more content on the recipes? Because that's what people are interested in. You gotta understand, like in this industry, everybody, being a competitor is very niche. You're only gonna appeal to a small demographic, but if you're trying to scale, you have to just widen that a little bit. You know, I'm just using that as an example, you know. But in your case, just based off of the little bit of information that you gave me, you have to get better with consistently posting. Yes, you can leverage AI. You can use like a Hootsuite you can kind of like just schedule all your posts ahead of time. And that way, hey, you can schedule them out a month in advance. Build yourself a calendar. Know what content that you need to put out. It's all about maybe setting a couple hours once a month and developing that structure. But if you put a calendar together, you know exactly what is being posted, when it's being posted, and how it's being posted. But for you to scale like your podcast to get more eyes on there, it's all about getting that information out there and being more consistent. Circling back around, like I said, it's not about the followers. It's all about the information. If people are interested in your information, all it takes is, like I said, one video to potentially go viral. And by you leveraging TikTok, that's really, really good. But pay attention, that's the unique thing about TikTok with the search feature. If somebody else, look at some of those, you can search right in TikTok and filter through and see what videos are going viral. That may be talking about similar subject matter as you. Okay, look, how did they title this? What tags are they using? Take some of that. It's not about like stealing or plagiarism or anything like that, but take that, because people do it all the time with YouTube. You see a video, Jay Cutler's back workout or whatever. Okay, see how he's titling that. It got maybe 20 million views, or Ronnie Coleman. Of course, these people are mega influencers, but look at their structure on how they're structuring things, and just take that and start implementing when you start posting.
Are hashtags still relevant?
Yes, they're still relevant, yes. They're still relevant.
Are they still the top 5 concerning?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
They're relevant. I will still leverage those and utilize those. It's almost like me having a web development background as well. It's like keywords. People used to put the meta keywords in the top. That doesn't work anymore. It's got to be more so within your content from like SEO standpoint and stuff like that. So going back to how the algorithms have changed, it's not necessarily about those hashtags, but if somebody, because of Instagram, was to search, meaning you can't really search, but you know what I'm saying, type in a certain hashtag, it'll pull it up. TikTok, you can search specific. I can say, police chase 2 weeks ago, and it'll come up, you know what I'm saying? Or fitness recipe, diet, or whatever. I can specifically find that in YouTube or TikTok. Because YouTube is the second largest search engine that's out there. You know.
Which is why that was my main platform.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up?
Hey, I got a question, and I'm new at
Okay.
4P, but I used to post once a month for the past like 5 years, but I got over 10,000 followers on Instagram. So when you say use analytics, how do I even do that? Because I just post and go, I never
So in the back of Instagram, you can find the analytics. It'll show you like what the posts, it'll show you the demographics,
Okay.
male, female, the best time.
So
like-
I'm saying, is that in settings? Because like, I'm rarely on social media, so
Yeah.
I go to the settings and find analytics.
Yeah, and after here, I can show you exactly how to find that.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
we
right.
can just go over that or whatever, but look at the analytics.
Okay.
See, based off of how people are interacting with what you're posting and putting up. So when you look at it, so people just randomly just post.
Right.
And I get that, but guess what? Why am I gonna randomly post at, let's say for instance, if most of your followers are US based, they work probably 9 to 5, why am I gonna post at 10 a.m. or 3 p.m.? Most of the time somebody's at work, but if I post it around 12:1, somebody might be on lunch break. If I post, later on in the evening, that's when somebody's getting off work. I mean, think about it. From websites, like I said, I build websites and stuff like that as well. When I look at the analytics in the back, it's 80% somebody is on a mobile device and 20% somebody is on a desktop. So we have a walking computer in our pockets, purse, whatever, all the time. So it's one of those things that we have to keep that in mind and then understand what's your frequency. Typically, you come home, you might have dinner or whatever, but then you kind of just scroll through social media. But you're not gonna typically do that at work, even though I see people doing that at work. All hours of the day, cashiers, checking social media. But just look at the analytics, because it's gonna be different for everybody. But you just have to just post based off of how it is for your followers. Oh, sorry.
So how do you like basically take control of your profile to avoid shadow ban and get like organically followers? Because I know sometimes like they can basically block your profile to show up on a For You page, just being shadow banned.
Like the shadow banning thing, I can't really say there's 100% answer for that. I follow a couple brands online and they talk about it all the time about being shadow banned. And a lot of times when you're growing your following, let's say you grew your following to 250,000, but you don't advertise with Instagram, you don't spend no money with Facebook, they'll shadow ban you.
What is shadow banning?
Basically similar to like no one will see your post.
Ah,
You'll post, but no one will see your post. And a lot of times, like I said, when I see brands organically grow and scale, and they're not putting marketing dollars and feeding the machine, they'll sometimes shadow ban them. It's unfortunate, but it's one of those things like they want you to spend money to advertise. But like I said, going back to how Instagram was and just social media in general, years ago, it was about your following. You organically grew your following. Some people paid for followers or whatever. I get all that. But the brands that thrive and the companies that thrive, it's just you created an organic brand. And more people cater to the organic brands. And of course, you can tell when there's a brand to where there's several likes and no real comments, there's no engagement, different things like that. You can kind of tell who's buying their followers and all of that. But times have changed. A lot of people aren't really buying followers because it really doesn't matter like that.
So would you recommend to just follow like the insight of like the dashboard, like the times that they have it over there, the analytics, would you like, if it says 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock, best time to post it, would you recommend like just follow that or?
Yeah. So the good thing about just digital media within itself, just think about it like this. Years ago, because like even when I was working at the Dietary Supplements Nutrix Research years ago, they were used to traditional print. You will pay for a magazine ad, everybody would buy the Flex magazine or the Muscle and Fitness. The owner would see, okay, I see my marketing dollars got this printed ad. It was a struggle for him because we're like, okay, now we need X amount of dollars for something that's not tangible. It's just digital. And he didn't understand it. So the good thing about digital ads, you can be very fluid with it, meaning you can see the analytics, what's working. Going back to your podcast, You can see what videos get more views than others. You can see in the dashboard what posts are doing better than others. It tells you. So if you look at the analytics, instead of just throwing stuff to the wall, just posting, just hoping something just sticks or just works, see the analytics, make the adjustment, and then, okay, this is what my following or my base, this is the type of information that they're looking for. So most people, like I said, don't get that technical with it, but if you're trying to grow your brand, you have to be technical with it. It's just like if you're into stocks or anything like that, you have to read the reports. You have to see, hey, is it going up? Is it going down? Like, what's working? What's not working? Most people don't pay attention to that. They're just like, oh, I'm just gonna post today. I'm just gonna post. I posted 5 times, hopefully. Why ain't this growing? Because you're not even paying attention to the analytics. The analytics will show you, is it good content or it's not? Because if people aren't really paying attention to it, you might spend hours or days thinking this is the best video or the best post ever. You got like 2 views. But you could have did something that might have taken you 15 minutes or 10 minutes, like a TikTok, a little, a trendy dance or whatever, and it can go viral. So you have to pay attention to the analytics and see what works for you. But like I said, it's gonna be different for everybody, but the analytics are there.
Can you speak to how to tell stories to create content with your social media?
So that goes into personal brand. Personal brand, which I think a lot of people don't really understand. Personal branding needs to be authentic. If you're trying to build a community on your social media platform, you want it to come across authentic. The biggest thing that I see, and I have seen in this industry, like I said, I've been in here 20 years. I'm with Muscle Tech, it's the best pre-workout ever. I've been with them for 5 years. This pre-workout's the best. They get cut 6 months later. I'm with Rise Supplement. This is the best pre-workout ever. This is the best, take this or whatever. It's not authentic. People can see through that now. Because I was guilty of this before I started working out, going back to the whole magazine thing. I'm looking at Ronnie Coleman, BSN magazine, ads. Dang, he took this stack to look like that? I'm gonna buy this stack. We're way more educated now. We're not just falling for that. So what content creators or even athletes have to take in mind, just be authentic. If you use the product, don't just post an image with the product. Talk about the product. Like people nowadays, yeah, I understand you get paid or whatever, but you have to make the content be engaging to your following. So what might work for me might not work for your followers and vice versa. And if you've developed a community with your following, they may like more video content of you explaining the benefits of something. Because that's the thing, a lot of people, a lot of times, they're seeking information. I'm pretty sure a lot of people get DMs, hey, what about this? If you post something about a product, turn that into content. That's content. Do your Q&A, post that on there, do a video. The image post doesn't do as well as videos, guaranteed. Think about it. You scroll, do you see a pretty picture or a nice picture? Oh, that's nice, but a video, you're gonna stop. You're gonna say, oh man, that's cool. It's just more engaging. The day and age of just posting an image with a bottle holding a product, it's like, come on, there's thousands of supplement brands. Just be authentic with whatever content that you're putting out, and that's how you build a community. Because if you are authentic, let's say you did introduce a product or a supplement or just anything, hair product or whatever. You've built that community, they trust you now. You're just not doing commercials. Think about this. Even this day and age, you watch, whether it's YouTube, TV or not, we still get commercials. You're like, why am I getting commercials? It's the same thing on social media. When I'm seeing you just posting ads, it's a commercial. I'm like, whatever, I'm just gonna go right past this. It's not believable. But if you build that community of trust and people know You're just not jumping from one product to another brand or whatever. They're like, okay, I can trust her. Because I've noticed that people who built that community and then, let's say for instance, come out with their own supplement line, it's easier for them to get that brand going because people trust them. They know that this person hasn't hopped around to 5 or 6 different supplement brands. It's believable. I trust this person. They're just not just going for the dollars or whatever. So that's what you gotta kind of do, is just build that trust, and your community will follow that.
So,
Let me just answer somebody else. You.
I wanted to ask, if you were helping someone start, build their brand from scratch, what would be the 2 platforms you would work with? There's so many now, it's kind of overwhelming. Long form on YouTube, TikTok, obviously, Facebook's a little more old school. What would you say they need to focus on?
Focus number 1 would be TikTok. It's the easiest one. 100% TikTok. YouTube will probably be a close 2, if not Instagram, because YouTube is a little tricky. Facebook will be like dead last. Dead last. I'm not trying to talk about anybody, it's just a different age demographic. Facebook is my parents, and I'll be 45 soon, so I ain't that young, but it's just a different demographic.
Unless that's what your audience is.
Correct. But somebody in her case, I would do TikTok, and I would focus on Instagram, YouTube. Because now what YouTube is doing, they're rewarding long form videos more so over short form videos. But if you're feeding the machine with constant and consistent good content, it's gonna reward that. Because it's gonna say, okay, she posted a video. First time around, she got 2 minutes of views or 30 seconds of views. And the more content she posts of the same consistent content, you can't be hopping all around. If you're a fitness brand, stick to that. Focus on that, especially as a content creator. If you're a content creator, find like a single lane, because if you've noticed, people will do like reaction videos. So you're gonna go to this person's page because you know they do reaction videos. It's funny or whatever, you're gonna get some humor because they decided to focus on that type of content, which is, you know, entertainment, humor, and they're consistent with it. But if you're hopping around, 1 minute you're doing a reaction video, then the next minute you cooking food or whatever, people like, what is this page? I didn't follow this page for that. So you have to always kind of keep that in mind too, you know, especially if you're trying to build a brand in a particular way. But yeah, I would definitely TikTok, because it's the easiest way to potentially go viral. Like I said, you don't need a following. People are finding your videos just organically.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I have like a few questions. I feel like they all kind of tie in together. You talked about like kind of reaching your audience. I feel like back, like just starting out on Instagram, back when I had like a few thousand followers, I got so much more reach than I do now. And like I know I'm gaining followers, but it's like in the past year, I've still like net lost about like 2,000. And I feel like it's hard, like, and it's like stuff isn't that hard to, I have like noticed the past year, like on Instagram, I don't know what's going on, like stuff, I feel like they're not pushing it out as much as like before, but it's like when something goes viral, how do you, I guess, like attract the right audience? Or like, I feel like they'll like be like, oh, cool video, follow, and then like, they don't really like care about like,
I see what you're saying.
what you're like posting aside from that. It's like maybe they don't care about like bodybuilding, but like I'm like posting a video and they're like, oh, okay, follow. But I don't know, I guess, yeah, I struggle just like connecting with the audience I do have and like getting that reach out. I do need to be better about like monitoring my analytics and really be like up on it and all that. Like I do kind of, like you're saying, just post to post, because like lately I've just been kind of like, I don't know, post, so like post anything. but yeah, just, I
So-
guess just finding and like connecting with the right audience, not just like, to like, I'll go like on my thing, it'll be like, you have 1,000 followers that are suspected like bots or not active or fake accounts or like stuff like that, and I'm like, why? Like, how do I get it right?
So, I mean, that's a loaded question. But
Yeah.
I can kind of reel it in a little bit. So, you said you made a post about your posing or whatever. You may have gotten tons of followers from that. So, with you posing, I'm pretty sure you're posing trunks. You're in. It's gonna go
Yeah,
somewhat
I guess that.
kind of viral, you know, because most guys are gonna see that. You know, I don't know if that's the kind of attention that you want,
No, definitely
but
not.
that's why you have to be mindful of your personal brand.
Mm.
You know, you can still post that, maybe, I don't know how you post it, I'm just speaking hypothetical. You know, I see girls all the time in their bikini bottoms and stuff like that. It's like, maybe wear some biker shorts or whatever, don't have your butt out or whatever. Whatever you may send in your coach, you don't have to necessarily post it on social media. It can be 2 different videos. But, you know, just be mindful of that. Because here's the thing what people always fail to realize. If I post something and delete it, it's still out there. People are so, oh, he took the post down. People got screenshots. It's in the metaverse. It's there. So be mindful of the things that you're posting because, you know, like I said, to each his own. I'm not trying to, you know, talk bad about anybody, but just be mindful of the stuff that you post because one day you're going to be a mother, a father, grandparent, or whatever. It's going to be out there. So just always be cautious of that because it ties into the personal brand aspect of it. Even when it comes to political and religious views. If you're cool, if this is your personal page and you're not trying to potentially scale your person, like me, I have a social media, but I don't post on social media because, like I said, everything I do is referral based. So for me, I still don't post anything, but if I wanted to, cool. But I have a business, so I'm not going to post anything crazy that I could potentially lose customers. Because I had a friend of mine, he has a business, I'm not going to say what business it is, with the election. He didn't post anything political, but he had a product that had a political sense to it. So people was on there ripping it, I'm not buying your product no more, I'm not following you no more, just ripping him. He was cool with it. If you're cool with that, fine. But that's not going to be for everybody, especially if you have a business. You know, you want to appeal to everybody. You don't want to piss anybody off. You don't want to lose a potential customer or a potential business partnership later on down the line. That's what people fail to realize. Just as quickly as I be angry about stuff all the time. Like, man, I should post something. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You know, leave some of that almost like back in the day barbershop talk. Have that in your house or your little circle. You don't have to always just post everything on social media. You know, because it can come back to hurt you. Because let's say you're a fitness competitor. Eventually you want to be a show promoter. So I'm like, I'm not going to her show. She's so-and-so. She made that comment 2-3 years ago. I'm not. Telling a couple other people, man, don't support her. You got to keep that in mind. If you just cool with not having business outside of, post whatever you want. Freedom of speech, do whatever. But if you're trying to monetize off of this and grow, be mindful of what you post. And going back to you, so if you're, okay, you can look at it like this. You have to look at the analytics, but of course the videos, in your sense, if you're doing a posing video, it's gonna do better than some of the other stuff that you're posting.
I think it was like, yeah, it was a transformation, so.
Okay, which is great. So like, if you're wondering why people may not be coming back for that, are you consistent with those style of posts? Or are you just doing like a one-off, hey, here's my transformation, whatever, and you're on to something else on your page?
I guess like now that I think about it, transformations, like videos So
Which
it's
is
like,
cool.
Yeah, that's.
But here's the thing that I've noticed, because like I said, me as a competitor, when I used to compete, social media wasn't really that big of a deal. Like,
Yeah.
people had social media. Like I said, I stopped competing in 2014. But even when you notice the Olympia, when do you always see these videos? The road to the Olympia, they're like 12 weeks out or 2 weeks out, but you're not really seeing the journey like that. You see the last finishing touches or whatever, but I think people will resonate and connect more if you saw the whole process, you know? And that's when you're trying to develop your personal brand and build what you're following. Like I said, being authentic, being, you know, genuine. You want them to be able to connect with your journey. And a lot of people, a lot of times, just, you posting that transformation, but talk about the highs and lows. Because like even when I was at Nutrix, we had a athlete there, because I used to manage athletes as well. I'm talking about negotiating contracts, doing all of that. So I understand all facets of this industry. And I know him on a personal level. I'm like, why aren't you really showing this on social media? Well, you know, I gotta keep a certain status or whatever. I was like, if you're trying to scale this, you look like Superman on social media, but I know who you are behind social media. You're not that person. And if you look more human-like, people can resonate with you a little bit and connect with you a little bit better. People try to always have this whole bravado on social media to where they're this superhero. But why do people always like the villain sometimes? Because they see a darker side. Sometimes you can be more vulnerable on social media and let people know, hey, you have highs and lows, but guess what? I'm still persevering, I'm still being consistent, I'm still doing my thing. Everything's not gonna always be a perfect day. But when you look at social media, hey, this person got this car, they got this, travel, whatever, a lot of it's fake. It's like, perfect example, not bashing people in their relationships. I know y'all know some people in relationships, and they post, this is my soulmate, this is the perfect, you like, they lying. Because y'all know these individuals, but on social media, because like even my wife, I told my wife straight up, I said, I don't have to use social media to validate my relationship. I've been with my wife since 2006. I was like, I don't need social media to validate our relationship. I missed Valentine's Day yesterday. I didn't catch too much. Because like I told her, and we got this understanding, it's Valentine's Day every day. We can always do this. I don't need a commercialized holiday to validate my relationship. I don't need social media to validate my relationship. And I told my 13-year-old son the same thing. But this is my own personal views on it. Everybody has their own as well. But like I said, create your identity how you want your identity. Don't let, oh, I gotta do this for social media. But let people be able to connect with you. You have a bad day, put that on social media. Hey, it's been a rough day. I'm on a diet. I've been on a diet for 16 weeks. It's tough. But people try to post this, the glamour side of it, like, oh, okay, this is nothing, this is easy. But the competitors and people in this industry know it's rough. It gets dark. You know what I'm saying? You low on carbs, you want to cuss people out, all of that. So those are the things, like, let people know, hey, it's a journey, it's a process. Just don't, because people always look at social media, they look at the end result, but they don't see the journey, the process in between them. It's like start, finish, challenge. You know?
Well, back in 10 to 14 with Nutrix, you guys did a wonderful job. Zach Kahn, he was, extremely transparent and he was on top of it. But then there was this who Zach was as the athlete coming back off the injuries. It wasn't just the videos in the gym, it was the videos of him at 12 o'clock at night in pain because whatever, sucking down one more meal or just being also, and the guys from England, whatever, his dialect, the cadence of his speech, he was authentically his.
Raw.
I'm unfiltered. I got a whole language and I got to hold it back, but it was F this, F that,
Yeah.
C this, and that was just him. He wasn't trying to butter it up for anyone. But then, take a look at, it's the transparency. Back in 14, I think, We had Daniel and Bailey, a lot of, promoters. Every athlete wants to know why don't we have guest posters anymore? Because it's a waste of money.
I'm gonna touch on that too.
Yeah, it's an absolute
It
waste
is.
of money. Because we had Daniel and Bailey at the Mid-Atlantic, and Dani, when she was in the height of her and Rob being everything. I mean, if anybody, and when everyone knows what's left of it right now, but 10 years ago, they were the fitness industry.
Yep.
Daniel and Bailey, Rob Bailey, they were everything. And we didn't sell a single ticket because of it. Because they don't want to see her on stage. If I want to see, I can follow everything on Facebook. I don't want to see you on stage. I want to see that you're normal. I want to see that, because everyone in here, as an athlete, whatever state of athlete you were in or whatever stage of it, you are where somebody else wants to be. As a business owner, as a family man, as a father, as a husband, you have the life, you have the experience now that everyone is, that somebody is trying to get to. They want to see what does it take to get there. Oh man, that girl, she also has kids. Man, she also wears Nikes. Man, that girl also has a dog that's not potty trained. Her husband doesn't listen.
That's that connection. No, I would agree 110% with everything that you said, and it circles back around to building that connection. Like I said, if you're just somebody who has social media and you just post because it's your personal page, post however you want. This is all about trying to scale. If you're trying to, scale your personal brand or your business. Like I said, if it's you just, hey, randomly, this is my social media, I'm gonna post whatever I want, however I want, cool. This does not necessarily apply to you. You can take some of this information, but this is for people who eventually want to try to monetize on this and take this to another level.
Can AI be used for lead generations?
Yes, you can utilize that. But here's the thing, you gotta be careful with that as well, because AI has its pros and cons. I utilize AI, I feel everybody, if you're not utilizing AI, you're gonna be left behind. I'm not saying you have to do it on a daily, but you should at least be familiar with it. Whether it's my son, 13 years old, AI. Whether it's math problems or whatever, that's basically his tutor. I don't have to pay for a tutor. He uses AI. Hey, ChatGPT, I got this math problem, how do I do this, whatever, and it's gonna break it down better than I can explain to him. People might say that's cheating, but no, I say that's being resourceful, And we live in a day and age now, the younger generation, they're more technologically advanced compared to my generation and older, and AI is one of those things, if you're struggling with content ideas, talk to AI. Be personal with AI. Like, I talk to ChatGPT, I'm like, all right, I got this, I need to, because I code all the time. I'm struggling with a code I can't figure out, I'm coding a website, I'm having a JavaScript error. I'm like, all right, I got this problem, this is what code is giving me, sometimes it doesn't give me the right answer. I'm like, you need to work on that answer, that's not the right answer. I talk to AI like I'm talking to a person. And that's what you need to start doing, is whether you're communicating with AI or whatever, because it'll start to kind of understand your language. So by me saying that, use AI as just a tool, but you should know how to utilize that tool. I'm not saying utilize it for everything, but there's a lot of stuff that you can set up as far as automations. Who has like personal training or coaching, online coaching and stuff like that? Okay, quite a few of you guys. Leverage automations, AI. There's a lot of people out here, I know you see the ads, hey, I can help you scale your coaching business. Here's the thing, I'll give you the cheat code. Most of them are using this platform called Go High Level. And they're white labeling it to make it seem like they got this new innovative thing, and they're gonna charge you a high premium for it, and you can just pay about $300-400 a month and just buy the software, utilize the software yourself. You can set up lead generations with that. You can set up automations to where if somebody texts a phone number, you can basically have it respond. It's AI, but it'll respond like it's talking from you, like the way that you talk and different things like that, so it can adapt to how your language is, so it doesn't sound like I know I'm talking to AI. They'll actually think that they're talking to a real person. That's how scary it is. Because a friend of mine, he uses that for his business. I helped him with. And he's like, look, I got a VIP list. Those who want to have access to my VIP list to get exclusive products, drops, so on and so forth, text his phone number. This is my personal phone number. It's actually not his personal phone number. So people text, they'll literally have questions, whether it's about orders or, you know, different things with like products or whatever, but it just seems more personal, which I think a lot of coaches utilizing a platform like a Go High Level will be good for you guys. It's something that you guys should look into. There's tons of YouTube videos on it. It may seem a little overwhelming, but it hosts your own website. It if you have potential leads, it segments everything on the back end. Like I said, I'm giving you guys cheap information because most people aren't going to tell you that they're utilizing Go High Level. When you see all these ads on Instagram saying, I got this coaching, I can help you, they're using Go High Level, but they're white labeling as their coaching app or platform. But look into that for you guys. Look into Go High Level. I've worked with that, but YouTube has tons of information on it. And if you're an online coaching business or trying to get leads and stuff like that, it will help you tremendously.
So you mentioned ads a couple of times. What do you, like, how important do you feel ads are for Instagram?
Okay, so cool. That's perfect. So ads. How many people have ran ads on any of the social media platforms? How many people have boosted a post? Okay, so there's a difference between boosting a post and using Meta Ads Manager. Most people will boost a post because the button comes up, it's easy, I can press this, I don't have to log into Business Suite, but guess what? There's limitations to that. And not only that, if you allocate, let's say for instance, a daily budget of $10 a day, you're not gonna get your dollars worth like you would have if you did the ads through Facebook Ads Manager. Once again, utilize your resources. I call YouTube, YouTube U. It's like the new university. You can learn anything you wanna learn, just search through YouTube. People are producing content similar to like what you guys are trying to do if you're trying to scale your online business or personal training. It's no more secret sauce. It's no more KFC. I can't give the secret recipe. We live in a different day and age. People want content. Feed them the content. Don't feel like you got something, I gotta hold this to myself, I can't tell nobody how I did this. If people like your content, guess what? They're gonna come back. They like the information, guess what? They're gonna come back. So that's how you gotta kind of look at it. Don't look at it as like, I gotta hold this dear to my heart. Look at it as like, the more I keep feeding, the more eyes are gonna get on it, and it'll just help me potentially scale and grow.
So I did ads before, and it worked pretty well for me, but my account got hacked. And my
Did you give somebody access to it?
No, it just got
Okay.
hacked. So I was able to get it back.
Okay.
My Meta account, so my Facebook and my Instagram. They posted an ad of someone getting hacked. Crazy.
Wow.
So they disabled my ad account. I deleted my Facebook page, the one that's connected to my Instagram, but they still won't let me have an ad account at all.
So Facebook is tricky. I had a rough time. Even I helped Rachel with a lot of stuff, even with this NPC conference. We were trying to run ads underneath the NPC conference. Facebook was denying it. Oh, it's inappropriate, oh, this. So I'm going back and forth through customer service through Facebook. I'm like, these are just basic ads. We're trying to promote this conference. Their customer service is terrible. They don't even try to help you. They basically, yeah, it's almost probably is an AI problem. But you can actually schedule a phone call. They'll call you. You can schedule a phone call. So we had issues. Could not get it going. Could not get it going. Then finally, I would say like about last week, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna just try to do this underneath Rachel's account. I'm just gonna just do it underneath my account. It's just not working underneath her account. And I was able to do the ads. put some money behind it, different things like that. But going back to the whole boosting and ads manager, boosting, I would not recommend boosting. Boosting, you can boost within ads manager, but you have way more control, okay? So if you wanna boost, just don't press the boost. You would have to go into ads manager and you can boost that same post within there, but then you can target a lot more with the demographics or interests that you're trying to do, and you just have more overall control. A lot of people, even my show promoters, the traditional way, not knocking show promoters or anything like that, or just thinking that you're gonna just pass out flyers or whatever at gyms or whatever. We all know, you get a flyer, what do you do with it?
Throw up trash.
Okay, the biggest event in the bodybuilding industry is what? The Olympia, right? Do you get a flyer for that? The Arnold, do you get a flyer for that? What do you see it on? Social media. So instead of spending $400 on flyers or all of that other stuff, with that $300-400, I could probably put you in front of 50,000 to 100,000 people. And we can say, if I have a show in Florida, we're gonna focus on Florida, we're gonna focus, why am I gonna spend marketing dollars pulling somebody from California? If they come, cool. But why am I gonna do that? I can say Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Southeast region. That's like what I did with Rachel when we finally got the ads. I said Southeast region. You can zero it down to zip code. It's like personal trainers. If you have a gym and you're trying to get people to your studio, hey, if you have a high-end personal training studio and there's a certain community around you within a 25-mile radius, put that zip code in, focus your ads on them. Because you know they got money. They can come, they're gonna spend money. Why are you gonna waste your ad spend on people who may have the interest, but they don't have the money? So that's how you can kind of gauge those ads, and you can kind of focus on the interest. And also, all creative are not equal. This is a fitness conference. Set up 3 different ads. One ad was for competitors, and one ad was for general fitness. So the creative has to match that. Why am I gonna show somebody who is just general fitness, a big bodybuilder, or somebody who competes? They're not gonna be interested. But if they see more of like an everyday person, transformation, oh man, I'm gonna go to this conference, I can learn about X, Y, Z. So you have to tailor the content based off of who you're targeting, because there's not a one-size-fits-all. If you boost it, you can't edit that. It's gonna take whatever you posted, the exact copy, everything, and just try to get more impressions. That's not what you're trying to do. What you wanna do is customize that ad to where I'm speaking to you. I can have it, they even have AI in the ads manager that will help you with headlines, with captions, and different things like that. But the creative has to match that, and you have more control on where you're gonna put this ad. When you boost it, it's just gonna boost it on Instagram. If you do it in ads manager, it can be on Instagram, Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger. It could be on Facebook as well. You have way more control. It can be in Reels, it can be stories, it can be everywhere. But you control based off of the media. You can say, all right, for a story, of course you gotta change the format because it's more portrait mode, not instead of like a square post. So you have the flexibility to change that content and speak to whatever specific audience you're trying to go for. Perfect example, if I had a fitness expo and they had karate, they had bodybuilding, and so on and so forth, why am I gonna show the karate to a bodybuilder? You're not interested. It's the same event, but I'm gonna make the creative tailored to who I'm targeting. If I'm trying to get people to come in here that has, taekwondo or karate, I'm gonna target that, but the creative's gonna look like that, but they're all going to the same event. So you just have to tailor it based off of what you're trying to do. It's time. All right, guys, I'm sorry I didn't get to some of your questions. I hope you guys got something out of this. But at the end of the day, just to kind of just circle back around, be consistent, create your brand loyalty as far as like your branding, especially personal branding. People want to connect with you. If there's a disconnect, you're not gonna see the results that you wanna see. A lot of people, like I said, they're just throwing stuff out there and just hoping that something potentially goes viral, but you have to be somewhat strategic and you have to, think about what you're trying to do, especially if you're trying to scale your business. But people are following you for a reason, but be consistent with whatever you're doing. And that's the biggest key I can tell you overall. But Facebook ads, and don't boost. Don't boost. Ads manager. You can boost within ads manager, but you have way more control in your dollars can go. You can see all the click-throughs, you can see all the analytics in there. So.